Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Global Studies class with Mr. Weckbot. It is Friday, December 4th, 2020. Hope you are having a wonderful week. We have a wonderfully easy agenda today. If you take a look, we are going to be doing a last class review as always. Then today, our lesson will be about the presidential cabinet. Maybe you've heard of it. We're going to learn a little bit about it, and that will lead us into your assignment and your attendance question for today. But first, a last class review. Last class, I believe I gave you guys the assignment to film yourself giving a speech where you are reading a news article that shows a source that is arguing for one side or another of an argument. And those of you who did it, let me just say, fantastic job. A+, well done across the board. Everybody who sent one in did amazing. However, there were quite a few of us who did not send one in. What I want you to know is that that is a 0 in the grade book. This should not come as a surprise. It is December. We are at the end of semester 1. If you don't do an assignment, you get a 0 in the grade book, and zeros are not good. They pull your grade down hard. Anything is better than a 0. Literally anything. So if you didn't do the video, if you forgot, if you were absent, I want you to go back to last class's video. Watch that, find the assignment, do it, send it in to me so we can get you some partial credit, some late credit for that work and bring your grade up before the end of this semester. Now, for today's assignment, we said we're talking about the President's Cabinet. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you have not. I'm going to fill you in just a little bit today before we give you your assignment. The Cabinet for the President is basically this: advisors to the President. The president is the head of the executive branch, and that means they have to execute all the laws, make sure that they're being carried out correctly. President is only one man, in some countries only one woman, maybe one day in this country, one woman, but for now one man. They can't do it all. They need to have advisors and people who help them out, and that's what the presidential cabinet is. Who is included in this cabinet? Some very specific people. One, the vice president. The vice president is always a cabinet member, helps advise the president. The rest are what we call heads of the executive departments. And executive departments are departments that are specifically designed to target specific areas of the country and to help execute those types of laws. Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Treasury. These are all heads of executive departments. Those departments would be the Department of State, the Department of Defense, or the Department of Treasury. One that is not a secretary is the Attorney General, and that's basically the nation's lawyer. These are some of the people, or some of the positions, I should say, that are part of the executive departments, or the cabinet that helps advise the president. The cabinet goes back all the way to George Washington in 1789. When he had about 4 cabinet positions. They were a little bit different. We did have the Secretary of State, did have the Attorney General, but we had the Secretary of War, not Defense, and the Secretary of the Treasury. Treasury is all about the money. The first Secretary of the Treasury, maybe you have heard of him, recently has gotten quite critical acclaim for a play, a musical play that was made about him. My government students know Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton was the first Secretary of the Treasury for George Washington, basically his right-hand man, his go-to guy. An entire musical was made about him. It is on Disney+. If you have the chance to see it anywhere, at your house, at a friend's house, online, I highly recommend it. It is a wonderful, wonderful play/musical for you to watch. But I digress. The cabinet. All of this is correct, but the most important thing is that the cabinet members must be confirmed by the Senate. They are selected by the president to head these executive departments, but that's not where they get the job. The Senate, which is 100 members, must confirm them. That means at least 51 senators must vote yes for them to get the job of the head of an executive department. Or if it's 50-50, the vice president gets to break that tie. They would obviously vote yes and confirm them as a cabinet member. Now, with that brief history on the cabinet, we need to tell you what today's assignment is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that leads us to today's assignment. It is a current event of sorts. What I want you to do is I want you to research who President-elect Joe Biden has chosen so far for his cabinet. Now, he hasn't made all the selections yet, and remember, they still must be confirmed by the Senate later on, but I want you to tell me who he selected so far. Tell me what their name is, what position he selected them to fill, what they did in the past before this, and what they will have to do once they are a secretary at this position. You won't find them all, as I said. He's only made a few selections, and they haven't been confirmed yet, but tell me who he selected so far. That is part one. Part two is I want you to take a look and research who Janet Yellen and Neera Tanden are. I'll spoil the surprise a little bit. They are cabinet selections, but I want you to tell me why these two are particularly important. If they are confirmed, why would these two be very important confirmations to the cabinet? That is your assignment for today. Your attendance question, to make sure you were paying attention, is I want you to tell me who George Washington's Secretary of the Treasury was, or Treasury Secretary. Who is George Washington's Treasury Secretary? That is your attendance question. This is your assignment. I will be here at the laptop all day if you have any questions, and I will get back to you ASAP. If you don't, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Take care.